Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be continuing to have a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, I believe we saw a few wars, such as the collapse of the Imperial Germans, and one thing you may be looking at is, hey Raven, what on earth have you done to the map? Oh my god, that's silly. What on earth have you done to the map? And to be honest, I understand you. I'm going to turn that off real quick. But I've made the map much bigger. Now this is one of the largest wicso maps, and hopefully I'll be able to get into a lot more detail. So yeah, now we end up with a massive wicso map. So let's get into the video. This Indian country here has like come on top in a way. They're getting a bit stronger than the others, so they're going to go ahead and use their big population. Well, they're not one of the most populated countries in the world. They've just got a big population for the area, and we're going to see them explore a ton of land. And let's go ahead and divide this up. India will be taking a small chunk of land up north, but central India is going to take a ton of land. And we're going to go ahead and see these Indians expand absolutely massively. They're going to send a ton of people into this land to just, claim it for our country. We need more land anyway. They don't need more land. They're fine as they are. But they end up going all the way over to having a border with Bangladesh. And they're going to keep going north because, again, they have the population and they definitely have the money. And after many more years of expansion, Central India will look something like this. This is an absolutely massive country, and the people are quite rowdy. But they're going to be solving this issue by invading two countries at once to show their domination and power. First country, as unfortunately, this orange country, who gets blasted. Same with Bangladesh. They can't really do anything about India. India is much stronger than them. So yeah, they kind of just capitulate. So let's go ahead and look at the peace treaty. And just like that, India has become absolutely huge. But what in the world have we missed? The formation of a superpower. Or maybe not a superpower, but a union has just formed. The Persian Union has formed between the four Persian countries who thought that life would be better united. They have two capital cities, and it's currently functioning very well. They've been able to expand and rapidly populate. That's a bit suspicious. But same thing can be said with these guys. Will now be known as Pakistan. They might not be in the Pakistan area. I don't actually care. So, but these guys are going to be the Pakistan of this series, and they're quite ugly. But I can fix that soon. But the Indians, they're going to feel some consequences for their actions. Currently see no alliances, but one has been created among the South Indian nations. All the nations that have been somewhat harmed by India are actually going to join this. And Sri Lanka will also join. By the way, I forgot to mention this. Sri Lanka has gained independence from these guys because they didn't really see a point in owning this. But it's quite powerful, to be honest. And we're going to see no one else is joining this defensive alliance right now. It's not really needed, but still they don't want to get invaded by this massive world order. Now we must go over to Arabia. Recently in Arabia there's been quite a bit of expansion, but they're actually going to finish it off. And yeah, all of this land is about to be discovered. Boom. And they're going to find some of the coast of Somalia and Djibouti and stuff. And they said Ethiopia, but Ethiopia doesn't have a coastline. They're going to explore up and down this. A few Egyptian people are going to be sent down, but not too many. They're not going to do much. But now we have this massive strip of uncolonised land, so let's have a look what happens. Much is going to happen. Just the formation of two small countries. This, green Yemen and a brown Yemen. Not really Yemen. I know Yemen is sort of my amazing Yemen border drawing skills. That's perfect. Okay. No, it's not Yemen. I can show you Yemen right now. Oh, maybe not. What is going on with this map? Where is Yemen? I found Yemen. Yemen. Look at them. Wow. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Oh my god, my PC is lagging right now, but as we can see, Oman is going to gain some land. And this kind of makes like the other Arabian countries quite annoyed because am I crashing? Hello. This land all desert, and this land is kind of also desert, but it's not too bad of a desert. At least you can actually like do stuff on it. But in the middle of like this area, you can't do much. So these guys are quite annoyed. I'm actually going to see a war break out just because of this. We're going to see these guys. They're going to be invading Oman. They they want this land. They want something like the coastal access as well. This kind of disputed territory. That's not the right color. There we go. We see this northern Omanese forces are going to move into Oman. I'm just gonna call them the neutral states right now. And Oman is getting jumped here. They did not know this was going to happen. They're going to lose 3 cities, and the neutral states is doing very, very well. And they're nearing the capital. And they're actually going to get there, and they're going to lay siege to the city. And this is where a massive battle happens. I'm actually going to go ahead and see Oman come and win the siege. A ton of troops who were exploring down south and like suppressing rebellions, they're up north now, and the neutral states was not expecting this. They thought that they'd already dealt with Oman, but oh how wrong they were. They're getting absolutely cooked. The city is going to get taken, and Oman is even taking this like desert lands. But then the United Arab Emirates is going to join the war on the side of the neutral states. Immediately, their troops are going to flood in, kicking the Omanese out, and oh their knees. That was an awful joke. But yeah, this isn't too great for Oman, but they're still very strong, and they do have home advantage right now. So they're going to be pushing back ever so slightly. This is happening over this war is going on at the same time as all this Indian stuff. Just to, because my series is I can't do everything at once. Sorry about that. But we're actually going to see Oman make a spearhead and capture a city, and they're going to try and lay siege. But there is a surprising amount of troops there, and yeah, they kind of lose a battle and they retreat. And both sides at this point, all the leaders, they kind of want to end this war, but they don't want to lose any land. So both of them are going to come to a compromise. This is the peace treaty. We can see that the neutral states have taken a bit of Omanese land, like a small bit here, but we can see that there is a line, a dotted line, and that is a claim. The neutral states, they've tried to one up Oman, and they're like, hey, we claim about half his country. No, not half their country, but this is a massive claim, and Oman is kind of wanting to fight them. Well, rightfully so, but they don't want the UAE to join the war. Worse would be Qatar. So they're going to just have to accept it right now. But these two are still beefing, and they're probably going to go to war again soon. Now going up north to Hungary. Hungary has been very, very divided recently. It's one of the only places that's still mega balkanized, because the rest of Europe, I mean, this part is, we're not talking about this, but yeah, and this part is, but Hungary has been relatively peaceful, and we're actually going to see 2 countries go to war. It's going to be the red country and the purple country. These guys, they hate each other, so they're going to go to war. The red team's going to surround the capital, they're going to lay siege. But then there's actually going to be a coalition against the red team, consisting of the green team and the blue team. And this is surprising. The red team wasn't expecting to be getting jumped by their neighbours, but they're being jumped by their neighbours. Boom, just like that. But then we're going to see is this green team getting involved on the side of the red team, and this country is going to completely fall over. But like the occupation is going to be given over to those guys because the red team, they need the troops to fight on the other front. Wow. Okay. So where was I? So sorry, something happened. But we're actually going to see the blue team win a major battle right here in this city. And this kind of like the red team starts to lose a lot of land from here. And that all this city is going to be sieged. This is their biggest city. I know they have a capital city, but this city is a lot bigger, and they were thinking of promoting it to the capital city. But these guys were kind of like threatening it, so they invaded them. That's kind of justified. But no, the others didn't like it, and we're actually going to see the purple team or like Budapest or something join the war, and they're gonna push into here. But they're sort of just invading now. So now it's a three-way war. And this is very, very confusing because troops from both these countries are fighting, but these countries are also fighting. So a ton of troops from here, they're just going to absolutely obliterate the purple team. All their troops are stuck in the city, and they're going to be forced to surrender or die. And the green team is going to pull oh my god, an interesting move. They're just going to leave the war. Yep, leave. They're not fighting anymore. If you want to fight, we can. But as we can see, these guys are being completely pushed out, and the red team is definitely winning against the blue team now. They're going to win a major battle over this city, and then they're going to siege the capital and take it. And in the peace treaty, it's going to be brutal for the annexation of these guys, and these guys are going to get full annexation of both of their neighbors. And as we can see, that is a major war that has just concluded for Hungary. But we're actually going to see the red team and the green team, traditional enemies, they're going to sign a defensive pact. As we can see, we now have a defensive pact between the two nations, and this gets instantly violated by the dominant Hungarian country, who is going to be invading these guys. And the blue team is actually going to join the war against the Hungarians. And these guys, they're very surprised from this attack, but they're going to kick the North Hungarians out. And at this point, these guys are a lot stronger than everyone else, but not combined, not combined. As we see, these guys, the capital is now, sieged. And the rest of their country is just going to fall. And now, these guys are left with an ultimatum. They can just let this poor country die, or they can do their best, and they're going to do their best, fighting against this Hungarian nation. Then we see Adriatica join the war, and Adriatica, they're funded by Sicily. Sicily's the strongest country in the world, and Adriatican forces are going to immediately storm into here. They're actually going to fight a battle over the city, and they kind of lose. Very large logistical failure. But Adriaticans, they're going to go over to these guys, and they're going to be like, okay, you're going to give us all the land we've took, and we'll leave you. And they're like, okay, yep, definitely. And now they've kind of been weakened. That the battle that Adriatica lost, to be honest, they didn't really lose it. They just failed to win. And well, it's the same thing, but we're actually going to see a siege take place over the city. The green team, they had quite a good offensive. We're actually going to see something really good happen. The blue team is going to win the siege, and they are going to liberate their entire nation. And this causes a collapse of this mid-central Hungarian country. And yeah, it's gonna fall very fast. We're gonna see these areas are going to swear their allegiance to the other people, and then the capital region is left to do absolutely nothing. But then we see a rogue group of Adriaticans. They want to, the legacy of their great nation to live on. And Adriatica has just taken a capital city. And yeah, the Hungarian nations, to be honest, they don't really care. I mean, they didn't have to siege them, they kind of just walked in. But yeah, let's have a look at the peace treaty. Wait, what? As we can see, that central Hungarian nation has just completely collapsed. All of their land is going to go over to their neighbours. And yeah, they're gone. And now we only have 4 Hungarian nations left. There's actually going to be quite a surprising thing happening. First of all, The defensive pact is broken, and these two massive countries are going to go to war. What makes this war special is there's going to be a union. Wow. They're going to unite under the green country to invade the red country. And the red team, this is like where the bloody spouts happen. The red team, they're very, very nationalistic, and they're just not gonna let the country die. And they're actually gonna be winning a ton of battles over here, completely kicking the enemies out. And they're even going to push in and start sieging this random city. But again, the Adriaticans are going to join the war. And Adriatica, they really, really want revenge. And they're getting a bit more powerful. They're gaining a few, like they're gaining a lot. And they're gonna lay siege to the capital city. And the red team is feeling the war now. They're gonna go ahead and lose this siege. And now we're gonna go ahead and see the green team have a total annihilation of the poor red team. And the red team has just gone from biggest country in Hungary to the smallest country in Hungary. We're just gonna see what's land go over to the. And in this peace treaty, Adriatica doesn't even gain much land. They're going to gain a bit of land. I'm going to be generous and I'm going to give them this much land. In my like map that I'm basing this episode off, Adriatica doesn't get any land. But if you like Adriatica, you're welcome. Here's some land. But now we have 2 Hungarian states left. But this state has been moving very close to the squares. So close that they're going to go ahead and join it. So Hungary will not be able to invade the last Hungarian state, but it's now considered a bit more Romanian than Hungarian. And yeah, we now have a united Hungary, but now we're moving up north to these guys. This blue country is extremely ugly, and yeah, it may have been me badly drawing a map, but I'm sorry. They're gonna die. And yeah, the peace treaty is well, annexation. Now going up here, it's getting very heated in the Holy Swedish Empire. Ever since the plague has calmed down, corruption has gone right through the roof. And we're actually going to go, well, there's also been a lot of ideology rigging. Countries have been rigging each other's, like, elections and, like, their kings and marrying off their, like, daughters and, like, sons to different kings and queens and empresses and emperors. And now we have a sort of crisis happening. And the entire empire is actually going to split into 2. And this is the result of the first crisis of the Holy Swedish Empire. We can see that many countries have split into a few different, like, well, not split up, the entire, like, all of the princes and stuff. They all hate each other now. And they might even go to war, but this isn't for this episode. We're actually going to see an invasion. We're gonna go ahead and see this small country. They're going to find out about a certain country trying to rig them, and that country is actually the red team, and they're going to be invading the red team. And this is mental. This small country has just declared war on maybe not top 10, but actually probably top 10 power, and they're now marching on the capital with a small army. But yeah, right now on the war they're doing quite well, but they're going to get pushed out. Unfortunately, they're going to lose this siege. They're going to get pushed back, and the red team is just going to blast them. This is really sad. Poor little country, and they're going to get exiled to this island before. Well, they're actually going to let them live on this island, and that's kind of cool. They're just now an island. And yeah, let's just see how long they last. My prediction is at least a few episodes if no one does anything about it. I mean, they could one day become a. Alright, never mind. But this is where I'll be ending the episode. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I really hope you like the larger map. Well, goodbye.